So when we might be using this events or event listeners is so suppose if you want to whenever some record is updating or whenever some event is happening on the uh, record, so you might need to perform some logic or validation or you want to show some message. So in that scenarios, you can use these uh, events and event listeners. So in ADF UI or simplified UI, we have Groovy scripts or server scripts in Application Composer to perform the same. So in VBS or in Redwood Sales, uh, whatever server scripts, right? So it will still remain and it will work still. So suppose if you go to any of the object and so all the field properties, whatever you define here at field level will also apply in VBS. And uh, server scripts, if you write any validation or a trigger or object function that you will call in some trigger or validation rule, so all will work. But so there are only two scenarios where it doesn't work. Uh, so one is field level validations rules. So we have here field validation rules, triggers, and then object functions. So validation rules we will use to validate something and then to show a warning or error message. Triggers so can be used for processing any of the logic, defaulting some values and etc. or performing some business logic. So uh, so object rules, if you write some object rules and that will trigger whenever you click save or save and close or on update basically or create. So this will work as it is. But when it comes to field rules, so this basically triggers when a field is changing. So because we will write this rule on field change. So in simplified UI, so we can see the change immediately. Suppose whenever we change some field, example, if we write some validation on email field, so while entering the field itself, or once we enter and then if we just come out of that field, so we will see the change. I mean, we can detect immediately and then we can throw some error if it is not a valid email format. Uh, suppose if we write some rule in here using field rule, and if we test the same in VBS screens, it doesn't work immediately. Whenever you if you enter the same field, the same behavior we will not be able to see in VBS. The reason is in VBCS everything is based on REST APIs, right? So it knows only when you submit or when you click save. So uh, then the REST call knows that there is a change on that field. So basically all field rules or field triggers will work only on saving a record, not on immediately changing the field. So and other object triggers, object validations will anyway will work on these events. Suppose if we write before insert trigger while creating a new record, so the Groovy will trigger. And after insert, so all these will work as it is. So the only one object trigger will not work in VBS is create. So in simplified UI, this create trigger works on clicking on a create button. But here, the same will not, this create trigger, right? Object trigger will not work. So, so to achieve this, these limitations, right? Either the create trigger to default some values, or the field level triggers or field level validations. If we want to perform on in VBS UI, so we need to use uh, events and event listeners concept. So suppose now we have one just a simple just throwed one error here. It Whenever we save some record, it throws this error. You don't have sufficient privileges to update this record. So if I go to any of the opportunity record, and if I save this, this will trigger and it throws error. And if it is a custom or whatever error message from Groovy, right? Or if it is a standard error message, so it comes like this on top. Okay. And so for now, I'll just comment out this script, but that is how the validations will trigger with the help of Groovy. Okay. So now, if we want to apply the same, right? So this behavior, what is event, what is event listener, we will see those things. If you go to layout section, so all these events, event listeners, we will write at layout level. And one more thing, so if we write any events, event listeners, etc., using VBS, so that will not uh, trigger when you update through REST, because it's just a VBS change, UI change. So it will trigger only to the UI layer. So if you go to layouts, and then if you expand the object, if you go to the respective object, so suppose opportunity, here you can see events. So this event is similar to the trigger points. So we have field triggers, then before update, before insert, right? So all of these trigger points in Groovy. Similarly, we have the trigger points here, when opportunities. So for each and every object, these events will be there in CX applications with the tag CX sales. So for every object, including custom objects, so these events will be there automatically. So these are all different types of events. Opportunities on header event. So whenever header is loading, so this will trigger. And field change event, whenever you change some field in opportunity, so you can use this field, similar to the field triggers. And on edit event, on delete child event, on create event, on before update or before save event, and then invoking panel smart action, before invoking smart action. So these are before invoking subview. So these are all some events we have. So we can use these events. And so whenever that event is happening, right? So you can listen that using event listeners. And from here, you will select that event, whatever event, right? So you will select that event. Suppose we will take an example. opportunities on field change event. Okay. And so here, so the event listener basically connects the event and the action chain. So action chain is it is a place where we can use some components or to call some JavaScript functions, etc. So we need to use to call any of the JavaScript function or any of the component to fire a notification, etc. Uh, or to write any logic. So we need to write using the action chain. So I'll create a new action chain here. Okay. And it automatically created with the default name. So if you want, you can change the action ID name here. And you can click on go to action chain. And this is the screen it appears. Okay. So this is the empty event, empty action chain uh, we created for opportunities on field change event trigger. So here we can write some logics. So suppose if we want to update something, right, based on some field change event, so we can use JavaScript. So in action chain, you can see actions. So where you can see different components like call JavaScript function, call REST, and assign some variables. Then fire notification, and then if loop, for loop, then switch statement, try catch, navigating to a different application URL or open external URL. So and different functions. So all of these functions we can use, and it's a drag and drop. You can just drag and drop so that this will be, we can use this. So again, you will have a design mode and code mode. So the same components, whatever we use it, we dragged, and it will form a code here. So now I have just added a JavaScript function, a call function, and then I'll go to the code mode. So here in line number so this is a field change event, right? So it has some parameters. So context, and then fields to show, row. So these are all different parameters it will have. So if you go to this file, so you can see for each action, right? So what fields it supports. So suppose here there is a previous, right? Uh, so it takes that context actually, what is the event, and it gets that information into this and context, and we can use that context. Suppose if we want to check what is the modified field, right? So you can use this, and you can refer inside event, right? So what are the fields or what are the values available? So you can get these values. Suppose if you want to get the modified field, you can use event dot modified field. If you want to get the current row, event dot row. So you can get, so you can refer for this. And actually the actual JavaScript we will write here. Suppose I'll copy this. So if you want to get something, right? So you can, yeah. So if you type something and if you want to get the same, so you can, it suggests the uh, available uh, values. So you can get uh, using this keywords. So in this function, right? So I have placed a script where it takes the event dot row, it takes the current row, and it assigns to an object called a variable called change it row. And then I'm checking the event mode. So event mode is edit. So other possible values will be the edit, then single field update, I think. Okay, yeah, these are all different values will be there in mode: create, add, edit, single field update. So if you are using multiple field updates, so maybe we can use this edit value for the mode. Then in event itself, so I'm calling modified field, and I'll be checking the field name, which field is modified. So for opportunity, so I'll consider opportunity status. So this is the API name. I'll use the API name. So now event mode is edit, and event modified field. If the field is if status is changing, so then I can run some logic. So basically I can update some field to the change it row. So I'm taking the event dot row, right, to the variable called change it row. For the same variable, I'll be updating this field. So in opportunity, I'll take comments. So standard field comments, and so I'm just updating comments field whenever status is changing. And then and we need to return this change it row. So it is just previous, but we need to include the return statement. You can comment this the default one, and then you can add the correct one. So here we will be returning the changed row. You can return the changed row. So the uh, updated list, right? Updated payload will be used to update on saving. So and then in Java's script, right, we can also use console.log messages uh, to check the code to log any messages. Or even if we want to debug, so we can use this console.log. Then first parameter, we can use the variable like variable, uh, and then the second parameter, we will use the value to uh, the value to see, right? So suppose if we use event.mode, so it will print the value what of mode in event variable. In runtime, we will see how these messages we can view. Okay, so since we have not edited from the page, so I'll go to CX sales and opportunity. Okay. So our condition is on status. So to debug the JavaScript, right? So you can use the inspect developer tools, and you can go to console, and here you can see the log messages, whatever we will be using for log, right? So all those messages will print in the console. So our event is on status scene. So I'll make it on. Okay. And as soon as I clicked on this, uh, so our field change trigger will execute, and we can see the messages that we printed. So we have printed result 1, result 2, result 3, and to get the mode, modified value, and row details. And then inside the loop, we have result 4 and result 5. Okay, so result 1, that is edit. So nothing but the mode, and event modified field is it showing undefined. Okay, so result 3 is a row, current row information. So that is okay. So this has the entire row. You can see. Okay, so this is the payload we have in row. So all the payload right in that row will be available here. And then result 4, it is inside the loop, and 5, the changed row. So in in previous row, right? So the comments field will be blank because we have not yet updated the field. Comments is some value, right? So in changed row, so you will see the updated value from the script. Yeah. So this is the updated value from script and the updated payload. So you can use this for any debugging if you want to check some variable values and whether it is going to the correct loop or not. So you can use this println to uh, to debug. Also, you can use the breakpoints if you go to the scripts. So if we click on this link, so it will navigate to the script that we have written, or you can navigate from here, and you can put some breakpoints. And once you run the same code, right? So it will stop here, and then you can view the variable values from here. Okay, so this is the example for field on field change event listener.